National League Eastern Division rivals collide once again in our nation's capital. It's the Braves and the Washington Nationals. This series features two red-hot hitters for the Braves. Freddie Freeman hitting .468 in his last 12 games. He'll duel with the Nationals' Bryce Harper, who's on an unbelievable tear. 5 homers, 10 RBIs over his last 2 games. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe back with you in Washington. Let's see if the Braves can even up the series. And Julio Teheran's the man charged with doing just that. Teheran coming off, Joe, arguably his best start last time out.
Absolutely his best start of the year. He was encouraged to be more aggressive, use more fastballs, and he certainly did that against the Cincinnati Reds. By the way, it was a day game, too. Struck out 6 in his 6 innings of work and threw shutout baseball. Oddly enough, he and Doug Fister, who both pitched in that series in Atlanta, and neither one pitched very well, have each thrown 6 innings of shutout baseball in their starts that followed that outing in Atlanta. So they're going to hook up today. Should be a good matchup. Julio has always pitched well in this ballpark and against the Nationals.
Hopefully that'll continue as Teheran faces Fister in Game 2 of the series. Andre Aldridge along for the ball game as well, and we'll check in with him as our day progresses here at Nationals Park.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Washington, Game 2 between the Braves and the Washington Nationals. A few moments ago, the Nationals enshrined Frank Robinson into their Ring of Honor. His name unveiled on the facade of the upper deck. Frank Robinson, of course, a former manager here with the Washington Nationals. And Joe, one of the game's all-time great players.
Absolutely, an MVP in both leagues. He's the only player to ever win the MVP in both leagues. And this is the 10th anniversary day celebration for the Washington Nationals, and that's why his name has been added to their Ring of Honor, and why Ian Desmond of the current Nationals wears number 20 to honor Frank Robinson.
Frank is out of McClymonds High School in Oklahoma. Terrific basketball player. His high school teammates with Bill Russell, and baseball teammates, in Oakland, with baseball teammates with Bill Russell In basketball, Vada Pinson and Kurt Flood in baseball.
Pretty good athletes.
Pretty good athletes in the Oakland area. And so Doug Fister takes them out for the Nationals, who are back at 500 at 15-15. Braves line up at 14-15, 4 games out of first place. The Academy Sports and Outdoors lineup features Nick Markakis, Andrelton Simmons, Freddie Freeman, red hot as we told you, bats third at first base. Kelly Johnson cleans up in left. Cayaspo in at third base. Jace Peterson celebrates his birthday today. He's at second. Christian Bethencourt's behind the plate with Cameron Maben and Julio Teheran batting 8th and 9th. Doug Fister, terrific pitcher, works fast and usually, Joe, very effectively.
Yeah, big, tall drink of water. 6'8", 210 out of Merced, California. 31 years old and in his 6th year in the big leagues. However, as you look at these numbers, his last 9 starts, see that big 1 in the L column? Guess who handed that to him? Guess who hung that one on him? Yes, your Atlanta Braves. April 27th at Turner Field. He went only 5 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, 4 were earned. He walked 2. Both of those walks were in the first inning. By the way, he committed 2 errors that night as well, and they made 4 errors total in that ball game. The Braves won it 8-4.
So defense is always a question with the Nationals, but they've made just 4 errors as a team since that 4-error game. And their defensive lineup features Worth, Span, and Harper in the outfield, Escobar and Zimmerman on the infield corners. Jose Lobaton gets the start behind the plate, with Desmond and Espinoza up the middle at short and second base, respectively. Pretty day, white puffy clouds overhead, gentle breeze blowing out. Ball should fly. It's a warm day. And let's see what Nick Markakis can do to start the ball game. And we're underway with ball 1. .82 degrees at first pitch. And there's a strike. Fieldon Culbreth has the plate today.
Fister in the high 80s with an excellent sinker, changeup, and slider.
Nick had a 1-for-4 night last night. He rides a 4-game hitting streak. And that one blooped over the Braves dugout, foul and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Braves scored the game's first and second runs last night. They got a hit batsman and a sac fly in the first inning. An RBI double from Freddie Freeman in the third, and that was all she wrote for the Braves bats. Atlanta led the game 2-1 after 5, and then the Nats started hitting home runs.
Fister, once he gets his sign, looks like he's on a shot clock with time running out. He's got to hurry up the windup. Holy smokes.
Yep, got him on the backside. So Nick Markakis is hit by a pitch.
Those are hard to get out of the way of, because you're just not looking to receive a pitch there.
Did it get him? Yep.
Brushed him.
So a first inning hit batsman for the second consecutive game. Markakis at first for Andrelton Simmons. He's hit safely in 7 straight and is down a strike. Andrelton scored both Braves runs. Boy, he's done a really good job hitting second for the Braves. Markakis has been on base a lot. Freddie Freeman's heating up. Simmons getting good pitches to hit, and he's hitting them. And that one lasered into the seats to the right. 0-2.
And he's been hitting a ton of double plays. He's tied with Casey McGee for the most in the National League at 11. But most of the time, those are on sharply hit ground balls that happen to be right at people. He's not striking out. He's putting it in play.
Andrelton batting .294 for the year. He's knocked in 15 runs. The pitch. Strike 3 outside corner. He's not too sure about it. Dropped the bat in frustration. 1 out.
See what kind of strike zone we're going to have today on the PNC Bank pitch tracks. Just a little outside. got the call. Hopefully Julio Teheran will get the same one.
So here's the hottest Brave hitter, Freddie Freeman. 2 more hits last night. And his 18th run batted in.
It's only the 6th strikeout and 110 at bats for Simmons.
That's off the pitcher's glove, and Espinosa's going to have 1 play. It's to first. Markakis to second. There's a break for Atlanta. That was a tailor-made double play ball. Had Pfister either gloved it cleanly or allowed it to go through. So Freeman's the second out, and Kelly Johnson's the batter. And a quick strike to Kelly Johnson.
Neither one of these teams have a sterling record in day games. The Braves are 3-5. The Nationals 5-7.
1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball toward right and right at Bryce Harper. He's got it. And Doug Pfister works around a leadoff hit batsman. Julio Teheran goes to work. Bottom of the first inning scoreless. Set. Here we go to the bottom of the first inning. Nationals back at 500. They've won 8 of their last 10 after an awful start. And their Academy Sports and Outdoors lineup features Span, Escobar, Jason Worth, who hit his first homer here last night, red hot Bryce Harper, Zimmerman, Desmond, Lobatone, who's been almost a personal catcher for Doug Pfister, Espinosa, and the tall, lanky right-hander batting ninth against Julio.
24 years old, 6'2", 200 pounds. This one is perplexing. His splits against lefties and righties. Take a look. A 340 average. Now, the career average against him is just 269. So there's something going on there, but I think most of it had to do with all the off-speed and breaking balls that he was throwing prior to his last start. We'll see if that changes today. Certainly one particular left-handed hitter in the lineup that he needs to make good pitches to.
And he's due 4th. For Washington today. Denard Span's going to lead off for the Nationals. He was 0 for 4 last night. I mentioned the fastballs for Julio Teheran. Much improved ratio of fastballs in that last start against the Reds. Julio threw 102 pitches, 68 fastballs. He struck out 6 men. 5 of those were on heaters. And he allowed only 3 hits over 6 innings of work. And he's quickly ahead of Span with a fastball, strike 1. That one across the shoe tops. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Braves did a good job on him last night with that 0 for 4. 3 groundouts that never left the infield, and then that one drive to center that was hit pretty well that Maben ran down. Vast improvement over that series in Atlanta, where he had a great series, a lot of extra base hits, 4 hits in 1 game. That was against Tehran.
And a liner over Jace Peterson into right field. Span around first. Big turn, but no further advance. And Denard Span leads off with a crisp single here in the bottom of the 1st inning.
Well, the 4 keys to pitching success for Julio Tehran today. Number 1, stay with what worked his last start. Stay aggressive, but pitch in, and as well, pitch in to these guys, especially the left-handers. And this yard he's pitched pretty well in. Had some success here, 2-1, a 3.46 ERA. But keep it in this yard. They have hit 9 home runs against Braves pitchers the last 3 games.
Yunel Escobar, the batter. He had a hit and scored a pair of runs last night. And takes outside, ball 1. Washington as a team has hit 29 home runs this season. They are a powerfully built club that does not run very much. As Joe pointed out last night, they've only stolen 3 bases and have been caught 7 times. Denard Span has one of those 3 national steals. Remember, he started the season late, coming back from abdominal surgery in the offseason. He's got a good lead. And he's not going. Snap throw back to first. And the count 2-1 to Escobar. Back where it came from. Tehran. Nice play by Simmons at the second base bag. Beautiful double play. And 2 are out.
Julio got in a hurry there. He was leading Andrelton to the bag, but threw it to the first base side of the base, where he really had to reach out to get it and try to keep his foot on the bag, which he did. Got in a big hurry. It worked out just fine.
So Escobar's doubled up. Here's Jason Worth. A no doubt home run in the 4th inning last night for the Nationals left fielder. He also added a single and scored 2 runs. That's a real good sign for Washington, Joe. We've talked a lot about that troublesome shoulder for Jason Worth.
Yeah, that was a sign they've been waiting to see for a while since he came back from the DL. But you're right, it was a no doubter.
That's in for a strike. Julio Tehran, a man that has given Worth a lot of trouble. Jason's 3 for 21 at the plate against him. And Julio missed inside.
One of the things he does if he starts to swing the bat better is by being able to leave him in the 3 spot. They can keep Ryan Zimmerman batting 5th and provide better protection for Bryce Harper in the cleanup spot.
Dangerous pitch. 3 balls and a strike. Worth took it. Full count. Bryce Harper waits on deck. And Jason Worth will see another pitch. He lost him. Worth's aboard. A 2-out walk. And here comes Bryce Harper. You don't want to face him with runners on if you can avoid it, because this is what Bryce did last night.
It went to deep left center that climbed out of here. And then that rocket into the bleachers and right off Williams Perez. 5 homers in 2 days. I should say in 2 games.
10 homers has him tied for first in the National League. Harper's knocked in 25 already. And he's not just up there swinging for the fences. He's been a very patient hitter for the Nationals this year. There's a pitch inside to Harper. 1 ball, no strikes. He has struck out 37 times. He's also walked 26 times. And plenty of history between Harper and Julio Teheran. Again to first, and Worth dives back safely. First it was Span, now it's Worth.
Be careful here. One of the things he's learned, according to his hitting coach Rick Shue, is what counts to let it fly. Good pitch.
He didn't like the call. Inside corner, 2-1 now.
May have been the same call that rang up Andrelton Simmons. Looked like a good strike. It came back, maybe a 2-seamer.
Three balls and a strike. I would assume, Joe, this is one of those counts where he might let it fly.
Well, 2-0 was also. He just didn't like the pitch. Gave up on it a little too soon. He used to swing harder than he swings now on a consistent basis.
Sharply hit and foul past first. That almost got Jim Reynolds, the first base umpire. That ball was on the ump in an instant. That was replay speed, not live speed.
A little more room for Freeman now if he does pull the ball. Freddie's going to play behind Worth on a 3-2 count.
Worth is running pitch. High fly ball center field, but playable. Maben's back at the edge of the track. He's got it, and the side is retired. No runs, a hit, a man left. We head to the second. No score. Our military and armed forces for Military Appreciation Day, presented by Bank of America, Saturday, May 23rd, when the Brewers are in town. Get a discounted ticket and a Braves camo t-shirt when you buy your tickets at braves.com/camo. They had Navy Day here in Washington last night. Some sailors re-upped their enlistment before the ball game. Yesterday, the 70th anniversary of VE Day, which signaled the end of hostilities in the European theater during World War II.
Braves had a great ceremony honoring the Vietnam veterans Wednesday night at Turner Field.
Callaspo, Peterson, and Bethancourt are coming up, and a fly ball hit toward Harper and right. And no trouble for Bryce. There's out number one. Back in the glory days of the Braves, you know, Greg Maddux had a quote-unquote personal catcher. Looks like Doug Fister has a personal catcher in Jose Lobaton, and the numbers tell you why Matt Williams likes this combo. Impressive work with the Washington battery.
I'd say I'd want that guy back there too, just as a good luck charm, if nothing else.
Well, the birthday boy, Jace Peterson's up. He's 25 years young today. First big league game he's played on his birthday. He's had a nice run up to today's play. He's hitting 10 of 11 games. This one popped into center, and Span is there. He calls off Worth, and there's the second out.
I had a friend one time who told me, he said, I always wanted to be a man. By the time I was 25, I just ran out of time. I don't know if it's a good sign or not for Doug Fister, but just the ground ball from Freddie Freeman on balls put in play that went off his glove. Everything, the last three outs have been fly ball outs, and that's usually not a good sign for Fister.
Faces Christian Bethancourt, who's catching Julio Teheran for the second consecutive outing. Christian had a couple of hits in that last game against the Reds, including a second inning double.
And he's had a tough time of it. He's 3 for his last 26, but in his defense, those at bats are not coming with any regularity. They're spot starts. AJ's been hot. He deserves to be in there and play when he's hot.
And Fister just struck him out and works a 1-2-3 top of the second inning.
Here between the Nats and the Braves. I'm Andre Aldridge, and looks like Christian Bethancourt will indeed get the bulk of the starts whenever Julio Teheran is out there on the mound. And as I talked to him before the game, and he talked about the red-hot Bryce Harper, he said, you know what, we're going to challenge him during this hot streak. All Bryce Harper is doing seems to be home runs, strikeouts, or walks because he's so patient. And they were able to get him out on the 3-2 fastball with a deep ball to center field to end the first inning. But he also says that he goes back to the minor leagues and forever with Julio Teheran and Chip. He has a comfort level with him that just goes beyond anything, much like you guys talked about the personal catchers in the last inning.
Well, thank you, Andre, and hopefully that comfort level will help Christian get going at the plate, too. As Joe mentioned, now just 3 hits in his last 27 at-bats after striking out to end the second. So Ryan Zimmerman leads off for the Nationals, the Washington first baseman. And he takes a strike. Zimmerman a couple of singles yesterday. Popped up. Jace Peterson drifts out into shallow right field. And he'll make the play. Zimmerman's out number 1. Here's Ian Desmond. He's hitting .229, a couple of homers, 7 RBIs, hitless against the Braves this year.
0 for 4, 2 more strikeouts last night, too. Using 30 strikeouts in 118 innings, 118 at bats.
Ground ball up the middle, and that takes care of that. A first pitch single is the second hit of the game for Washington. Desmond was down on the field talking with his former skipper Frank Robinson, and the first thing Frank Robinson said to Ian Desmond was, your front shoulder's flying open.
They kept it close on that high hanging slider. Paid off for him.
Frank also walked up to Ryan Zimmerman and said, hey, show me your footwork at the first base bag. Even though he's not managing, he's still managing. So man at first for Jose Lobaton. Fly ball belted deep right field. Lobaton has connected again.
He hit that one into the second deck above the Nationals bullpen. First pitch, wasn't it?
Yep.
Fastball.
April 28th, Lobaton entered play against the Braves, 1 for 13. He had 3 hits, including a 3-run homer against Teheran. He's hit his second homer of the season, a 2-run shot, and the Nationals have struck first with their 10th home run against the Braves this year.
Julio's naturally upset about the fact that he knew where that ball was headed, but it started with location. That was another one where he was trying to pitch in. Lobaton's a switch hitter, but he's really deadly left-handed, trying to keep him tied up, much like Bryce Harper. Ball went right to the middle of the plate.
So the Braves have to fight back down 2-0 against a tough customer, Doug Fister. And off the plate to Danny Espinosa. He hit a couple of homers here last night and drove in 3 runs. In the air to center. Maben on the run. Can't get there. That ball's going to roll to the fence. And Espinosa has a 1-out double.
All of a sudden, Espinosa's getting hot. Struck out his first 2 times last night and then hit 2 homers And now a gapper.
So the two switch hitters back to back, batting left-handed against Tehran, have homered and doubled. That was the note Joe talked about, the trouble Julio has had getting lefties out. Now Doug Fister bats. He has a couple of hits and a couple of sacrifices. And he's down a strike. Time for our cold hard facts, brought to you by Coors Light.
Braves in their head-to-head matchup with the Nationals over the last 15 games have just won 5 of those 15, and they've been out-homered now 17-8. And look at that. This year, coming into this game, the Nationals averaging 9.8 runs per game.
A lot of that work, as you saw, also done against the Braves bullpen, but they've touched today's Braves starter Julio Tehran for a pair here in the second. Nothing in 2 to Fister. And he's out number 2. First strikeout for Julio. And we go back to the top in Denard Span. Denard Span was born in Washington, D.C., grew up in Tampa. Played his high school ball at Tampa Catholic. And that's off the plate, ball 1. Came over in a deal with Minnesota for right-handed pitcher Alex Meyer before the 2013 season. The Denard's played real well here in Washington. Pitch way high. Last year he hit .302, played 147 games.
But that was kind of an odd deal. The Twins traded both of their center fielders, Denard Span, Ben Revere, to the National League East.
Two balls, no strikes. And now 3-0 to the Washington leadoff man.
So early runs are always a good thing for any club, but they're especially good on a 4 o'clock start where those shadows start to creep across home plate as the sun begins to set.
I was talking to Johnny Gomes before the game yesterday, and he said a situation like this is one where he's talked to Christian Bethancourt about. Don't wait until you've lost the hitter. Go out and tell him, hey, you've got 3 pitches to still get Denard Span. You might give the pitcher a reset, a mental reset. See if it works. With Escobar waiting on deck. It didn't. Ball 4 outside. Might have liked the righty-righty matchup, which is what he'll get. Second walk in as many innings for Julio. And Roger McDowell will offer a reset with 2 in and 2 out.
Now you could see from his reaction how much that bothered him when he gave up the home run. He gave up the double to Espinosa right after that, and then after striking out the pitcher without too much trouble, he walked Span. So I think that home run's still eating at him.
So that's about minimizing damage for Julio. You don't want to get down to Worth and Harper with 2 outs. Already down 2-zip. Escobar into a 1-6-3 double play in the opening inning. breaking ball, strike one. Escobar broke in with the Braves in 2007. Then was shipped to Toronto in 2010. He's been with Tampa Bay and now Washington in the big leagues. Same result, 0-2.
Yeah, his work where he's 7 for his last 14 coming in pushed his batting average up over 300.
Tyler Clippard was sent to Oakland for Yanel Escobar this past January. 0-2 pitch. He is wasted high.
And he's only made one error at third base too. So filling in at third, if that's what he's doing a good job.
And filling in because Anthony Rendon is still sidelined with the knee problem and now an oblique problem. No timetable yet for his return. Escobar, a bouncing ball foul and out of play. 1-2. A Jose Lobaton second inning homer. All the offense to this point. In the air, shallow center. That's going to get down for a hit. Maben up. Here comes his throw. It's going to be cut off. It's 3-0 Washington. Yanel Escobar with a base hit to center. Tenth RBI for Escobar.
That was a really good at bat. Fell behind 0-2. Fastball that ran in on him. He just fought it off. He didn't hit it very hard. He just hit it in a nice soft spot. Just a little bloop out there, and with 2 outs, the runners are going to be moving on the crack of the bat. Very little chance for Maben to have a play.
4 hits and a walk in the inning. Makes it 3-zip for Jason Worth, who walked back in the first. The Braves are running into a Nationals buzzsaw. They've won 8 of 10 after a 7-13 start. Strike one.
That looked like that swing hurt. Saw him do a little stretch there. His hand on his helmet for his right shoulder.
'21st pitch of the inning, and Worth missed it. 0-2.
Jason's always had a short swing and a very short follow through, keeping both hands on the bat. But these last 2 pitches have fooled him, and it's caused him a little extension on that right shoulder.
And the hand came off the bat that time. 3 straight breaking balls retired Jason Worth. But the Nationals strike for 3 runs, including Jose Lobaton's second homer of the year against Julio Teheran. We head to the third. 3-0 Nationals.
But nobody's going anywhere because here comes Bob Horner. Reardon delivers. There's a fly ball deep left center field. Right looking up. He did it. He did it. Bob Horner has become the 11th player in baseball history to hit 4 homers in one game.
Straight from college to big league baseball, Bob Horner.
What a day for him.
And were it not for wrist problems, a fractured navicular bone was what sidelined Bob Horner for a long time. And it's sad to say his swing was never the same with the Braves.
Yeah. I'm really loving the 50th anniversary celebration with these highlights from the 50 years. But as much as I enjoy seeing the highlights, I think I enjoy more hearing the calls.
Strike 3 to Cameron Maybin, who's down looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Pfister. That's 3 in the game.
Well, he's going to a spot that fielding Culpeth is giving him. Out there in that outside corner. That looked like a good pitch.
Yeah.
But he knows that he got a call there earlier twice, and he's going back that same spot.
You'd be silly not to.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, as a veteran guy, he knows what he's doing. As Julio Teheran bats and fouls one away. You see those great videos of Bob Horner. As my dad would have said, I wonder what Bobby would have called me. Bouncing ball toward Escobar. Oh, a sweep play, and he makes it. And there's out number 2. 8 straight retired after the hit batsman to Nick Markakis. The only bad pitch Pfister's thrown today.
Yeah, and it was only off about 3 feet. In between Hawk, made it look easy.
He was signed to play second base for these guys because they had Rendon to play third.
Right.
A nice little problem when Anthony comes back. And a strike to Markakis.
Yeah, especially if Espinosa stays hot. Same spot. I mean, as fast as this guy works, you can barely get your foot in the batter's box, and it's 0-2.
We're told only Mark Burley has a quicker pitch sequence than Doug Pfister. One ball, 2 strikes. And that one bounced up there. Lobaton took some punishment. Even count at 2-2.
They should match them up just to run a test on this pace of game stuff that they're trying to employ and realize that they're moving along just fine.
Or baseball's too fast.
Yeah, slow her down.
Get some more popcorn. 2-2. And he just missed. Full count.
Pfister's last start came against the Mets. He worked 6 1/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs or walks, 3 strikeouts.
Big tall guy. He's got the scruffy beard. When he begins his windup, he reminds me so much of Roy Halladay. For some reason.
Yeah, he does.
But he works at warp speed. Bouncing ball. Nice pick. Nice throw. Espinosa, former shortstop, is having himself a great series. Braves don't have a hit through 3 turns at bat. They're down 3-0. Will lead off for the Nationals. He'll be followed by Zimmerman, then Desmond. Hope you saw Braves live, and I hope you saw Joe's analysis of Bryce Harper's incredibly quick hip turn and the power that swing generates. It's certainly serving him well with 10 home runs and 25 runs batted in. Former Rookie of the Year, tops in the league in homers, second in runs, and first in walks. And if he can stay healthy, you might be looking at the MVP of our league.
Well, that interesting story you told me about that was in the Washington Post, kind of analyzing his swing, was really good because so many people weighed in on it. But that hip turn was something that caught his hitting coach, Rick Shue, caught his attention. And he started looking at some other swings, that of Ted Williams, Jackie Robinson, and Babe Ruth. And when he was watching Babe Ruth swing, he noticed something similar. And that was that hurricane-like hip turn. And he put their swings side by side on a video page and was amazed at how similar they were. Now, is Bryce Harper Babe Ruth? No, not yet. But he was really making a strong comparison to the way they swing.
Well, he is a babe. He's only 22. And here he goes again. Another base on balls for Bryce Harper, his 27th. And I think that's what's going to be so interesting to watch as his career unfolds. Quite obviously, he's going to mature as a person, but he's already maturing as a baseball player. He's not trying to hit a home run every time he's up there. If they're not going to give him anything good to hit, he's going to take his walks. And he leads off with the third base on balls issued by Tehran in as many innings. Zimmerman popped out to start the second and takes a strike.
There are a lot of things about Bryce Harper's game that have to get better. I wouldn't say that he's got good instincts on the base paths yet, and hardly any at all. He just kind of runs till somebody tags him.
No balls and a strike.
There's some things about his outfield play, like that play a couple of years ago where he just ran, forgot that there was even a fence at Dodger Stadium, and just face planted into their left or right field wall. So there's a lot of things instinctually that will come but aren't there yet. Hitting wise, not so. It's full package.
With regards to the defense, I want to ask you how much of that is because Harper ping-ponged between all three outfield positions the first couple of years. Does that play into it all for you?
No, I don't think so.
Nothing in two to Zimmerman. Check of the runner at first. And he swings and misses. High tight fastball gets Zimmerman 3 strikeouts for Julio, 1 away.
And Zimmerman's a guy that is not swinging it very well. He got a couple of hits last night, but you might remember that both of them were kind of pinged to the right side, didn't have a whole lot on them. His first time up today, he popped up this shallow right field with Jace going out to catch it, and you just saw a funny swing there. He's not at all on top of his game yet.
Desmond singled and scored ahead of the Lobaton homer. And Harper nearly got picked off. He spun his wheels but got back safely. Julio's got 2 pickoffs this year. And he's keeping Bryce close at first here.
Another great crowd.
Pop fly foul, 0-1.
I'm sure a lot of them are here for the 10th anniversary celebration and the honoring of Frank Robinson, but they got to have a pretty good walk up today. People wanting to come in to see if Bryce Harper is going to hit another home run.
Oh, and they're still coming in. I mean, you look at the gates off Half Street out in left center. There's still fans walking through. No balls at a strike. Swing and a miss. Snap throw back to first. Bethencourt's done that 3 times today. 0-2.
As we know, most people in Washington, D.C. are late to the dance on just about everything. So not surprising it's at the ballpark, too.
Mentioned Desmond's high strikeout totals. Let's see if Julio can add one here. Pitch. He did. Desmond with a long swing is out number 2.
He got a good pitch to hit his last time up when he sent that one up the middle. It was up. It was a hanger. But there's another case of what Frank Robinson told him about his front shoulder flying out. He was thinking fastball and got a slider.
30-year-old Jose Lobaton is on now. Broke in with the Padres in 2009. Was acquired from the Tampa Bay Rays February 13th last year. And he lost the bat.
Let's go back to that home run. Look at the point of contact. We talk all the time about getting the ball out front. Look where he connects with this ball, right out by his front foot. I mean, that is great extension from a very strong man. And that ball didn't take any time getting into the second deck here.
He's got Julio Teheran's number. Down a strike here in the Washington third. Harper at first after a leadoff walk. Back-to-back strikeouts of Zimmerman and Desmond. And now outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We put Denard Span in that group too. Denard Span this year is 5 for 5 off of him with a walk. 2 doubles and a homer included. Here's that inside target again. Remember that target on the home run, on the pitch on the home run, was inside, and the ball came back to the middle to outer third of the plate.
Two balls and a strike. Nats were 28-9 last year when Lobaton started. A lot of that work came with Doug Fister. And Julio didn't get it. 3 balls and a strike.
Like a pretty good pitch.
Popped up left side. Callaspo in the shadows and with plenty of room makes the play to retire the side. Harper draws a leadoff walk, but the Nats can't advance him, and we head to the 4th. Vidro.
Adam Dunn.
Lot of choices. As Andrelton Simmons unloads on the first pitch and drives one toward Worth in left, who makes the running catch. 1 up, 1 down in the 4th inning. You're right, Joe. A lot of fly ball outs from Pfister today.
Yeah, but it's just fine with him. I mean, he's mowing them down, and he's got a 3-run lead to work with now. He can be a little more aggressive. He's got 3 strikeouts, 3 ground ball outs.
The largest lead the Braves have overcome to win a game this year is 3 runs. They're down 3-0 to the Reds on May 1st and came back and won 4-3. That was a game started by Mike Foltynewicz. They beat DeScalapini for Cincinnati. Touched him for 4 runs. Kelly Johnson hit a 2-run homer that provided the go-ahead margin.
We'll see Scalapini on Tuesday. We just won't have the veal to go with it.
There you go. Fly ball center. Span drifts back. He's got room. And 2 are out. Speaking of Kelly Johnson, he's our Yellowwood Bringing the Lumber feature today.
This was off Doug Pfister in Atlanta. He had a good night. 2 for 3 with a homer in that game. All off Pfister.
Headed for the seats, foul out of play. Steve, rank 1.
15 RBIs in the last 12 games for Kelly. He's always been a real streaky hitter.
In the air to right. That's playable for Harper. Very easy inning for Pfister. 3 fly ball outs on 8 pitches and no hits allowed through 4 innings of work.
Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
The always enjoyable president's race.
Thomas Jefferson just got waylaid by, what was it, Beef Nacho Libre?
I think so. I think so.
He jumped out of the stands and just cold-cocked him. Allowed old Honest Abe to win again.
Washington's winning today 3-0. Espinosa leads off, then Pfister, then Denard Span. Julio Teheran struck out 4. Bouncing ball to first. Nice play. Freeman bobbled it. Got to the baseball and fired a strike to Julio at the bag.
Good recovery by Freddie, but this is a real good lesson here on pitchers covering. Instead of just continuing to run, Julio has to stop at the bag and get himself under control so he doesn't run the risk of his momentum carrying him past the base. Good job there by both.
And because the timing of the play was messed up, Julio's foot was on top of the bag, and you saw how quickly he got out of the way so he wouldn't get spiked by Espinosa, who hustled. So 1 out. Doug Pfister was Julio's first strikeout victim today. Nationals got Doug Pfister from the Tigers. For Steve Lombardozzi, Ian Kroll, and Robbie Ray. That was before Christmas in 2013.
Great trade for Washington.
What's funny, though, is he started his career with Seattle, and you'd think that'd be the ultimate pitcher's park. But he didn't pitch particularly well there. He was 12-28.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
No, let me take that back. That's wrong. He was 12-30 while pitching in Seattle. And went 18-11 with the Tigers in his first 2 years there. As this one's hammered deep toward right center field. Markakis on the run, still going back. That ball's off the base of the scoreboard wall. And Doug Pfister has a double.
It's his 3rd hit of the season and almost hit it out of here. It's funny, he caught my eye yesterday when the pitchers were taking batting practice for the Nationals. Anytime you see a pitcher with a good swing, you pay attention and you notice it because you don't see him very often. Right, Tom Glavine? He went down and got that one. Head down, good swing.
Let's see if Braves can keep Pfister at second base for a little while instead of resting on the dugout bench. He's already up 3-0 with Span up there. Span has singled and walked.
See if Julio can keep him from reaching for the first time.
Yeah, at the knees. 0-2. High and away evens the count. Sharply hit, line drive to Peterson, and the flip to Andrelton Simmons will double up Doug Pfister. He's a good pitcher. That wasn't good base running. And the Braves happy to be out of the inning. We go to the fifth. 3-0 Washington.
AT&T UVerse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Doug Pfister hasn't given up a hit. It's time for that to change. Callaspo leads off the Atlanta fifth inning, 3-0 Nationals. And as Joe said earlier, late start, those shadows beginning to creep toward the pitcher's mound. Right now the hitters are in the shadows, the pitchers in bright sunshine.
And the background is still very bright. But it does look like a little bit of a strobe light. And the baseball passes through the light standards on the way to the plate. The shadows of the light standard.
Pfister's been very economical. He hit Nick Markakis with a first inning pitch. He set down the next 12 in order. Fly ball, long run Worth down the left field line. That's twisting toward the stands. And the count now 2-2.
I think a guy named Strobe invented that light. That's why they call it strobe light.
Maybe. I don't know. We should have booth trivia to ask the truck.
No, we wouldn't be very good at that either.
Riding a 4-game winning streak, though, at trivia. That one's fouled out of play.
For the first time in his career, a ball went right between the legs of Terry Pendleton. That never happened before.
Two balls, two strikes. And a little fly ball toward left. Worth on the run, still coming, can't get there. So there's the first Atlanta hit. Alberto Callaspo singles to start the fifth inning.
Well, maybe that'll open the floodgates a little bit. There's just a little flare. He had fouled off a changeup the pitch before that somehow he got a piece of. He was so far out in front of it, but it gave him another pitch to see.
There's the start. Here's the birthday boy, Jace Peterson. He flied out to center his first time up. And to answer your question, no, a man named Strobe did not invent the strobe light.
No?
Nope. Harold Eugene Edgerton invented a stroboscope in 1931, a flashing lamp to study machine parts in motion.
I knew it was one of those two.
Yeah. You were all over it. No balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball toward right. Harper got a good jump, and he reaches up to make the play. Jace hit it hard, but he's the first out.
Now, some of these fly ball outs have been hit hard and just had a little bit too much air under them.
Christian Bethancourt struck out on 3 pitches in the second. And he's going to bounce toward third. This one off the heel of Escobar's glove. Look at Desmond get a lucky bounce. And he throws him out at first base. A 5-6-3 put out. Bethancourt out on a hard hit ball. 2 down.
Well, everything going the way of the Nationals right now. Even the hops off the glove of the infielders right to their partner.
So Cayaspo in scoring position for Cameron Maybin. Pitcher due next for the Braves. Maybin struck out as well his first time. And takes ball 1.
Lobaton didn't get a very good look at that pitch. Fortunate to glove it.
Cameron Maybin's had a good run for Atlanta. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Last 10 games really has bumped up his average. 348 over those 10 games. Got robbed last night of extra bases when Ryan Zimmerman made a catch and turned it into a double play on a line shot to first. Not getting that spot called now.
Nope. It might be tough for the umpire to see it too. Three balls and a strike. And now the count is full. Maybin would like to reach. At the very least bring Tehran up here in the 5th inning. Clear the pitcher. Krister. Very economical. There's a drive down the left field line and fair and into the corner. Cayaspo's going to score. Maybin around first on his way to second. And with 2 outs, the Braves are on the board. A ringing double by Cameron Maybin.
It looked like something inside too that he did a nice job of turning on. Yeah, sinker that was going down and in. and able to keep it fair. So add to that good run he's been on over the last 10 games with an RBI today.
Let's see if Julio can help himself. The Braves are now down 3-1. And a slow roller toward third. That's going to stay fair. Escobar, bad throw. Good footwork around first by Zimmerman. And with a man charging down the first base line, Zimmerman caught the ball and avoided the base run. The Braves strike for a run. 3-1 in the fifth. Verizon Center, the home of the Washington Wizards, and we will have pre and post game coverage of Hawks Live playoff edition beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll be streaming on Fox Sports Go as well. John Wall's not going to play again.
Well, hang with him. Go Hawks.
So the Braves got something going in the fifth inning, a run on 2 hits. Now let's see if that gives Julio Teheran a little wind beneath his wings, and he can get Escobar, Worth, and Harper here.
Al Horford's been hurt. You know, Kyle Korver's had a busted nose and all that kind of stuff. The Hawks have been able to overcome it. So boo-hoo for the Washington Wizards.
So they'll be whirling all around the basketball court in just a few short hours. As Teheran could use a shutdown inning. Escobar has got an RBI hit. He's also hit into a double play today. 3-1 is your score. Told you earlier the Braves have come back from 1 3-run deficit this year in a game a week ago. See if they can shock the Nationals like Washington shocked us in game 2 back in Atlanta.
Well, last night Braves cruising right along with a 2-0 lead. That game turned around in a hurry.
Ball 1 to Yunel Escobar. Right off the end of his bat. And that'll roll foul and out of play. Hey, somebody finally beat Matt Harvey, huh? Phillies got him 3-1 last night. Cole Hamels went 7 innings and got the victory.
Ryan Howard,
another homer. Jonathan Papelbon picked up the save. He's now tied for first all time in saves for the Phillies. And this one popped up right side and played by Jace Peterson, who's there in fair territory. And Escobar is out number 1. By the way, the Mets suffered another injury. Dylan G's got a sore groin. He's going to the DL. Noah Syndergaard, their
is that right?
Top pitching prospect's going to come up from the minor leagues and pitch on Tuesday. Mets begin play today in first place 3.5 games ahead of the Nationals at 18-11.
You got to give it to the Mets and Terry Collins for what they have accomplished for the most part without David Wright, who suffered another setback, this time with his back. But playing without him, without Zach Wheeler, they've covered up their injuries pretty well.
Bobby Parnell, all Familia's done is earned double-digit saves for them so far this year. I'm with you. They've been a remarkably resilient team. Another off-speed pitch. Fooled Jason Worth. Here's how the East shapes up at the moment. Braves are a half game ahead of Miami. Washington 3.5 back. Bouncing ball. Callaspo can't get it. That's down the left field line. Kelly Johnson will play it with a bare hand. Worth comes to a sliding stop and heads back to first. First hit of the day for Jason Worth. He's aboard with 1 out.
Remember, they fooled him with some breaking balls earlier. Well, they wanted to throw another one, but look where it was. Boy, hanging up right in his eyes. And unfortunate that was only a single. Got him to chase pitches away last time.
7 hits for the Nationals with 1 out in the 5th inning. And here's Harper. He's flying out and walked.
You were with us earlier. We were talking about a story about Bryce Harper and his swing. It was in the Washington Post, and some comparisons his hitting coach Rick Shue made to Babe Ruth and the way Babe swung. His GM in that story, Mike Rizzo, made a comparison to a more contemporary athlete, but not one in baseball. He compared him to Tiger Woods and the turn he makes in his golf swing with his hits.
One ball, no strikes.
He told a story, Harper did in this column, about how he was 7 years old playing with a 10-year-old national tournament. He hit a ball, he said, about 9 miles foul on a fastball. And he said, and just like that, the rest of the tournament, I didn't see anything but curveballs, 10-year-old curveballs and changeups. And I realized then what my dad had been telling me, that you need to use the whole field when you hit. He said, so I learned that at the age of 7.
This one's taken the other way on a 2-0 count. I was going to say, those 10-year-old pitchers are pretty smart, huh?
Guess so.
Back-to-back hits. And that'll bring up Zimmerman.
That was a good pitch. That was just a flat-out good pitch. Two-seamer running away from him, and he just served it into left field this time.
A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he might try to hit that to right and pull it out.
He might roll over it and bounce it back to the pitcher.
So Teheran's got some trouble now with the Nationals' first baseman up there. Zimmerman's popped out and struck out today. 3-1 ball game. Teheran gave up 3 in the second inning. Braves got 1 back with the bottom part of their order in the 5th. They'll have the leadoff man coming up in the 6th.
I'm pretty good at putting a whammy on people, and I may regret saying this, but I have to say that right now this might be the guy you want to see up there. You just saw another funny swing from him. He's just not swinging like we're accustomed to seeing him, with a big, strong swing, a big high leg kick. His timing is way off, it appears. I was watching him take batting practice today, and even in BP, he wasn't driving the ball.
No. See if he can roll over one on a 1-2 count. It's on that pitch. Found it straight back.
That was a better swing. It was up. Trying to get him to chase something out of the zone, and he got a piece of it. That was a good pitch from Julio. Not a strike, but well located, and one he thought Zimmerman would chase, and he didn't. That's frustrating. Maybe I'd try it again.
Might have broken his bat. He did. A jam job. Forces Zimmerman to get a new bat. And the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Action begins in the Braves bullpen. Brandon Kinniff is up.
Court to the mound to discuss what they want to do to try to put him away. Is it on the 2-2 pitch or a setup pitch for the next one? I would hope it would be on this one. 3-2. More inclined to try to make it a more perfect pitch. Hamilton Simmons just scared Jason Worth to death. Snuck up behind him. Scared him to death. It's almost like he walked up behind him and said boo.
2 on, 1 out, 2-2 pitch. Popped up. That's headed for the seats.
They're still talking about it.
Driven down the left field line. That's big time trouble. It's a fair ball off the fence, and 1 run's going to score. Zimmerman's going to stop at second base. Kelly Johnson played the carom, and Matt Williams might want to take a look and see if this was a home run on a ricochet back onto the field of play.
While they're looking at it, I still don't regret saying what I said a minute ago, because this was another hanger, and it was letter high, and it was like putting it on a tee, just like the base hit that Worth got earlier today.
The ball got out so quickly, I don't think the umpire at third had a chance to take a or get a good look at it. Let's check the replay.
It's hard to see. That looks like padding. It's really hard to see with that railing and the shirt sleeves behind it. That looked like padding that it caught and sprang up real high.
It's over the flowers.
Yeah, it does look like it's back there.
So the question is, will 1 run score, or will it be a line drive 3-run homer?
And the 11th hit by the Nats against the Braves in the last 3.5 games.
Zimmerman's explaining to Jace Peterson that there's a little bit of a well between that railing and the fence that has the script.
Yeah, that did not hit padding. It's like it's out there in the begonias. Smart of Kelly, though, when it came back, just to play it. Here we go.
It's a home run. So that makes it 6-1 Washington. 2 singles and a laser beam from Zimmerman. A 3-run shot.
Look at the hanger. Just sitting out over the plate for him.
His 3rd homer, now 20 RBIs for Zimmerman. Here's Desmond. He has a hit in 2 tries. And going back to our earlier comments about Julio Teheran and how effective he was in his last start against the Reds, he threw a lot more fastballs. It seems to me the last couple of innings, many more breaking balls from Julio Teheran, and maybe more today than we've seen in a couple of starts.
Could have been. There could be. And I would say with respect to Zimmerman, he made him look bad, striking him out on some breaking balls just like he did Worth, and tried to come back with those pitches, and were not as successful the second time around.
Good one there. Got Desmond. That's Julio's 5th strikeout. And 2 out.
There's probably some hardcore, hard-nosed baseball guys out there watching, saying, hey, all these home runs, why hasn't somebody been knocked down? Why hasn't somebody been hit? Old school baseball. Well, part of it is all the Nationals are doing are hitting mistakes, getting a lot of pitches up. Last night Stoltz left a couple of pitches, letter high, that were hit out of the ballpark. Williams Perez, the ball that
that went right back through the box.
The second homer that Harper hit, that was a changeup that had a lot of the plate, and he just covered it. So you can get mad if you want, but it's not like they're hanging out over the plate and hitting good pitches. They're hitting mistakes, and they are not missing them.
And here's the decision that Freddie Gonzalez really has to wrestle with here. You're in the 5th inning. Your starters throw 90 pitches. Your starting pitchers are not giving you 6 innings very frequently. Your bullpen has worked a ton of innings. It's been obliterated against the Nationals this year. You're already down 6-1. I'm assuming Freddie at this point is hoping that Julio might find something here that he can carry into his next start and buy a precious inning more, perhaps, for the Braves bullpen. They got 6 innings out of Stoltz yesterday. 5 1/3 innings out of Fultonevich in the last game at home. Shelby Miller thankfully had the complete game shutout against the Phillies. Alex Wood went 4 1/3 innings on May 4th. 6 innings by Teheran on May the 3rd. Fultonevich with 5 innings on May 1st. A lot of innings that have been left to the Braves bullpen. One ball, 2 strikes.
.93 pitches. Yeah, it may be less about results right now and more about, hey, give me 105 pitches. Save me another half inning or even an inning.
Lobaton, a 2-run homer. Zimmerman, a reviewed 3-run homer, has made it a 6-1 Washington game.
It's still a game right now. We've still got time to come back down by 5. But if you got to go to the bullpen in the 5th and go through 2 or 3 more guys, it could get out of hand in a hurry.
Nationals have hit 11 home runs against Braves pitching. This is the 5th game head-to-head. 2 of them today. The 2-2 pitch is high, ball 3.
This is the 5th game, Chip, but they didn't hit any of the first game.
So it's 11 in 4
all the
games.
Damage is all over 4-game stretch.
Full count pitch with 2 outs. Runner goes, and the breaking ball whacked foul at first. Our Jen's a better fielder than that Jen. Jen Hildreth would have made that play with no trouble.
Should have come up throwing.
Hey, Jen's going to be working Fox Sports coverage of the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Very excited for her. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Again, the runner goes, and the pitch is cut on and fouled into Bethencourt's glove. Rough inning for Julio Teheran. 3 runs on 4 hits. Ryan Zimmerman's 3rd homer of the year. On further review, makes it a 6-1 Nationals game after 5. Here we go to the 6th inning. Braves have some work to do. They're down 6-1. They'll have Markakis, Simmons, and Freddie Freeman coming up versus Doug Fister, who threw a no-hitter through 4. Callaspo got a leadoff hit in the 5th. He was brought home on Cameron Maben's 2-out double. Nick has been hit by a pitch and was robbed of a hit by Espinosa to end the 3rd inning. He's our T-Mobile game changer today.
Yeah, take a look at some of these numbers for Nick Markakis. On the road, great average. Leading off innings, 4th best mark in the National League. 405 on base percentage when he leads off an inning. Great numbers against Washington and against Doug Fister in his career.
There's a line drive to left. Nick Markakis with a leadoff hit.
Adds to those numbers.
There's a start.
The bullpen is still working, so I'm going to assume that will probably mean the end of the day for Julio, but at least he did get through the 5th.
That's high. Ball 2.
Like all ballparks, there's a lot of flags flying here. But most of them blowing straight out today.
I like this park.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I hate our broadcast position. I mean, that's the biggest joke of all. But otherwise, I think it's a great place to watch a game. There's a strike. It's 3-1 to Simmons.
Well, it's a nice ballpark, no doubt about it. It's really just turned this area around 180 degrees with so much development around it. Once they do something about the food in the press room, they're at the bottom of the barrel in the league on that one.
There's a strike. Hey, it's the best deal in baseball. For $10, it's all you can eat and all the indigestion you can handle.
Yeah, we have a pool. But what inning? Somebody's going to have to leave the booth.
Three-two pitch. Runner goes. Sharply hit. Desmond scoops. Takes it to the bag late and a high throw to first. Desmond tried to turn the unassisted double play. Espinosa was there. Hard slide by Markakis beat the play at second. And Simmons is out 6-3 at first.
Nick's all right. I mean, those were two guys going full speed at the bag at the same time, face to face. Oh boy. Nick got arm whipped by the leg of Desmond.
I wonder, Joe, if that play kind of encapsulates the defensive problems that Ian Desmond has from time to time. It seemed to me that was a case of him trying to do too much all by himself. If he flips it to Espinosa, it's probably an easy double play.
They get the double play. I mean, well, I don't know if they get the double play, but they get the lead runner for sure.
At least they have a chance for it. I mean, 9 errors for Ian Desmond. Far and away the most on their ball club, and we've said it a couple of times. He's too good to have those kinds of defensive problems. A strike. It's 2-1 to Freddie Freeman. That's have quieted him today. He's 0 for 2. That's a little low. 3 balls and a strike. Let's make this man work and make him pay. A couple here would be nice. Slow roller, first base side. Fister's got it, and he'll apply the tag. Runner to third, 2 out. And that'll bring up Kelly Johnson. No harm yet for the Nationals defense with the Desmond play at second, but there is another effect to that. Double plays turned, innings over. Now Fister's got to throw a few more pitches, and he's got to face a dangerous hitter in Kelly Johnson, who can hit anybody's fastball. He's flied out to right twice today. One ball, no strikes. To the right side. Zimmerman's got it, and he'll win the race to the bag. And the side is retired.
These are the ground balls we expected to see all game long.
They're starting to pile up now, and it's a 6-1 game in the 6th. For the Nationals, and the day is done for Julio Teheran. Trevor Cahill strides in out of the Braves bullpen. They'll try to gobble up some innings and shut them down and give the Braves some late inning hope.
Cahill worked here last night, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit and a run, gave up the home run, actually, to Espinosa, his second of the night.
And a quick strike to Doug Fister, who's doubled and struck out. And back out of play. It's 0-2. There is nothing wrong with Trevor Cahill's arm. He's thrown the ball in the low to mid 90s. As he takes care of his mound opponent, Doug Fister, for the first out. But the aimage has really been a problem for Trevor.
That aimage has been plaguing a lot of people.
Yeah, he's not the only one, is he? Teheran, 5 innings, 10 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 2 homers. Denard spans the batter. He's singled, walked, and lined out. That line out into a double play when Fister wandered too far off second base. But that's how Cahill has to pitch. He has to pitch in the lower portion of the strike zone to be effective. Really, any major league pitcher does, but especially he does.
There's only 2 guys on the Braves. There's 3 guys on the Braves staff that can pitch upstairs effectively. Shelby Miller, Mike Fultonevich, and occasionally Jim Johnson. When Jim's ahead in the count and he can elevate his fastball and wants to waste one upstairs, he can. But aside from that, Jason Grilli, too, on occasion. But aside from that, everybody's got to pitch down. And I put Julio in that category. When Julio's pitches are down, they move better. He gets more swings and misses. Everybody else, I mean, aside from those guys I just mentioned, everybody's got to pitch down in the zone.
And today Julio just had too many hangers that got whacked.
Oh boy. That 3-run homer from Zimmerman was a real backbreaker.
Span stepped out on Trevor Cahill.
Well, he takes forever. He's got his hand up like, you know, I'll let you know when you can throw. And if umpires want to do something to get it going a little quicker, as soon as he gets in the box, you better be ready to swing.
Yeah, quick pitch him.
Well, that's what they tried to do. Just not even quick pitch him, but he's in the box.
My point is,
you better have your head up.
Go tell let the umpire, hey, let's go. Umpires grant time. It's not up to the hitter to demand it. So take that. Denard, he grounds out to second. Here's Escobar. He's got an RBI hit today. 6-1 Nationals. We're in the 6th. Chip and Joe with you from Nationals Park. Andre Aldrich in line somewhere over near the Shake Shack in the upper deck and right.
I don't blame him. Chocolate shake sounds real good right now. See the usher there holding that sign?
Yeah.
When people go to the concession stand, if there's action going on the field, they hold that sign up. You can't walk down the aisle to your seat, back to your seat, and obstruct the fans' view that are already in their seats.
They are very strict here. You've got to have your fan credential, your press credential on display at all times. Otherwise, they call the Secret Service on you. Funny story. Hopefully we can get to it if Escobar obliges. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And we'll have to wait. It involves the Sarge, Gary Matthews, here at Nationals Park. Something to smile about. Cahill, a good inning. We head to 7th. Seventh inning, Alberto Callaspo picked up the first hit of the day for the Braves. It led off the 5th inning. The Braves have 3 hits in total. Callaspo, Maben, and Nick Markakis. Alberto scored the lone Braves run on that Maben 5th inning double. So I got to get to this story about Sarge. Gary Matthews Sr., our buddy, former broadcaster with the Phillies. Phillies come in here 10 times a year. And it's September. Everybody's tired. Phillies are playing great. They're trying to wrap up the division. He's been in the dugout every single day for every single game with the Nationals. 3-1 pitch. He is lined into right field. And Sarge had a little problem with one of the security guards downstairs. We'll continue the story in a moment as Jace Peterson bats, and Andre, this is a special day for the Braves second baseman.
Absolutely, Chip. You know, as we've been talking about him being the birthday boy, number 25 for Jace. And, you know, Jace Peterson grows up a multi-sport star in Lake Charles, Louisiana, so he always remembers playing baseball on his birthday. But another thing he remembers is that he's never done well on his birthday. So he was trying to change that trend in a big way. But at the bottom line is that I just want to get a win for the Braves. So obviously we got 3 innings to do that. And as for the food situation, I wasn't at Shake Shack, Chip, but I think that you and Joe need to just order different stuff up in the media room, because me and producer Brian Woodrum love the Philly cheesesteak sandwich. That thing was delicious. Top 10, and we've had them both days.
Really?
Absolutely. And the nice lady even offered to cook some other stuff too.
Huh. Well, I didn't realize that you could, you know, special order stuff.
There you go.
VIP people.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Well, I just went through the line, and
there's a line drive to right. Harper got there. Sliding catch. 2 out. Peterson's 0 for 3. Harper's made a couple of good plays. So Sarge walks through the dugout. He's going to the field of play. And the security guard says, "Hey, Sarge, can I see your pass?" He said, "Why do I need to show my pass? You know who I am, right?" He said, "Yeah, you're Gary Matthews." "Then why do I need my pass?" And they almost kicked him out of the ballpark, for crying out loud. That's for credentialed media. Yeah, so just think how tough it is if you're a fan trying to bring your $75 worth of Shake Shack burgers to your family and the ball's in play.
That guy was a pain in the neck. But
yeah.
I think they remedied that.
Did they? Mm-hmm. All right, good. Base hit to left. Now I got that off my chest. Bethancourt rewarded with a 2-out hit. Is there anything else we want to complain about in Washington?
No. Oh, you don't open up that. Open up that can up.
You know how much I love to wind you up and watch you go.
No, it's going to come across and sound like sour grapes because the Nats are winning again and hitting homers again.
Yeah, no, that has nothing to do with it.
No.
Line drive toward left. It's a base hit for Maben. Bethancourt on his way to third. He'll be stopped. And Cameron Maben's got a couple of doubles.
And that was an instant replay of the one before.
Hey, we keep ragging on Washington. We start hitting. Like it. Second and third, 2 outs.
See if he made a mistake. No, basically the same pitch, maybe a little bit lower where he just dropped the barrel on it. Two-seamer trying to run that sinker down. Great job today by Cameron of keeping it fair and going down to get that sinker and turning on it.
No chance for Freddie to vote for Pedro. Pedro Siriaco is going to pinch hit for Trevor Cahill. Cahill worked a scoreless inning. A couple of strikeouts.
Picking up a couple right here. Make it interesting the last couple of innings.
Steve McCaddy out for a brief chat. Braves fans, you get a chance to meet former Braves legend Javi Lopez before his bobblehead night May 20th when you buy a Kroger 4-game plan. That includes 2 seats for the May 20th game. This exclusive pregame VIP meet and greet offer is limited to the first 100 fans, so act now. Visit Braves.com/4game today. Brandon Kinniff will be the next Braves pitcher. Matt Thornton's up in the Washington pen.
Good inning for Trevor Cahill.
Downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Braves' first run came with 2 outs. Let's see if Siriaco can chase home Bethancourt and Maben. Fly ball, that's well hit. Worth retreats, still going back. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Siriaco with a pinch hit double has made it a 6-3 game. Boy, the Braves bench this year has been a great bright spot.
So happy for Pedro too. That's going to do it for Pfister, but happy for Siriaco, who, as we've said, had made the club in spring training, and then the trade of Craig Kimbrell took that spot away from him. But here he is back, and a big hit right there.
So Pfister gets a big hand, but he surrendered 3 runs, and the Braves aren't done in the 7th. 6-3 your score. Here in the top of the 7th inning. Fans contemporary Christian band 10th Avenue North will perform after the game Sunday, May 24th. Free concert for all who attend. Limited VIP field passes are available for just $20. Act fast. Visit Braves.com/concerts and get your seats today. Pedro Siriaco with a pinch hit, 2-run scoring double, chases Doug Pfister.
Yeah, hard throwing veteran comes in relief of Pfister, and that's Matt Thornton. There are his numbers for the year. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts in 8 innings. They got him from the Yankees last August, and since coming over on a waiver claim, 30 games with Washington over that period, he has a 1.47 ERA. So he's doing something for Washington that he didn't do for the New York Yankees.
So lefty-lefty matchup here with Nick Markakis. Sure, they saw each other quite a bit in the American League. And Thornton pumps over a strike.
Low to mid-90s fastball and a slider.
They did see each other a lot, Joe, and Markakis is 5 for 13 against him. That'd be a nice run to pick up with 2 outs. And he had a good rip, 0-2.
Yeah, got something upstairs and just missed it. But yeah, how great would it be? Siriaco picked up those two runners, 2 out. How about 1 more?
Braves bench this year now 11 pinch hits in 39 at bats, 6 RBIs off the bench. Last year the Braves pinch hit core batted .179. They had 34 pinch hits all year last year.
Yeah, that's great improvement.
A third of the way there, and we're barely a month in.
Nice stop there by Lobaton.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Fly ball toward Harper and right. He retreats. That ball is caught on the warning track. Bryce Harper with a late stab hauled it in.
Boy, late is right. You talk about putting your glove at the right place at the right time and the ball finding it. What a play.
That saved a run, and it keeps the game 6-3 Washington. Talking about the raw athleticism of Bryce Harper from a defensive standpoint, he just saved a run with our SunTrust save of the game.
I thought this was over his head. You can see that he started going back to his left when he kind of misjudged it and threw his glove up at the last second to haul that one in right out on the end of his fingers. That saved a run, prevented another double, and perhaps changed this game with his glove.
Harper's due second in the 7th, and he'll face Brandon Kniff, who's the 3rd Braves pitcher of the day.
Kniff pitched last night an inning and was greeted rudely in his return to the big leagues. He gave up the first home run to Espinosa.
Jason Worth has walked, he's struck out, he's singled and scored. And he takes a strike.
Batting average against Kniff, 10 innings, only 2 hits allowed.
But 6 walks in those 10 innings.
But here's a shutdown inning needed for a team that's behind. You just got 2 on the board, got back within 3. Get your offense back in there.
We've talked a lot about the ugly bullpen numbers for the Braves. He's probably behind 3 balls and a strike. Bases on balls have been a major problem. 93 innings. The Braves have walked 45 men. In relief. And there's number 46, and it wasn't close. Through strike 1, then 4 straight were a foot off the plate.
And this is what's driving Roger and Freddie crazy. Just driving them nuts because, you know, you go to a different guy today, you go to a different guy tomorrow, and then this is what happens. So this is kind of what you see. Walks per 9 innings are averaging 5.4 walks per 9 innings. That is devilish.
And I know fans go crazy and they say, well, why, to the manager, well, why'd you bring that guy in? Well, he doesn't know he's going to come walk the.
No.
And there really aren't any options for Freddie Gonzalez with 4 rookies in his bullpen.
Look, these guys are, like you said, these guys are young. They have little, if no major league experience. They've got to be intimidated. They've got to have some nerves. They're trying not to make mistakes, and I think therein lies most of the issue. They're trying so hard not to do anything to hurt the team that all of a sudden it's ball 3, it's 3-1. And now what do you do?
1-0 count to Harper. That's way outside. He's missed with 6 in a row. Makes you think of the movie Hoosiers when Gene Hackman took the Hickory Huskers to the title game in Indianapolis, brought up a tape measure and had him measure the height of the rim and the free throw line and said, I think you'll find these are the same dimensions as our little gym back home. Popped up by Harper. Bethancourt will give chase, but he won't have a play. I'm sure you'd agree, though, the difference between AA and AAA is the hitters are a lot more selective at this level, so the margin for error is consequently a lot smaller for young pitchers.
No doubt. These are better players. It's a real narrow spot to miss. No question about it. However, you're in the major leagues, and now let your ability come through and quit thinking about it.
There's a good pitch. Harper took it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I dare say that I would never presume to speak for Freddie or Roger, but if one of these young relievers came in and gave up 3 hits in a row, they'd be much more satisfied with that than a hit and 2 walks.
Tom Glavine talked about that and addressed that very thing.
And Bryce Harper didn't get it. He is struck out. It's the first time Harper has struck out in the game. 1 away in the 7th.
So a nice comeback after falling behind. Down and in. Good hard slider. Right over the top of it. Back foot slider. Good comeback by Kenneth.
How big is the Zimmerman home run looking right now? A line drive homer that ricocheted off the back fence, and after review was correctly ruled a 3-run homer. 1 of 2 surrendered by Julio Teheran today. If you can get the ball on the ground, Zimmerman is not a speedster by any stretch. He's been dealing with some lower leg issues all season long, plantar fasciitis most notably. So he's a candidate for a double play ball. But now the count's 2-0.
And Christian with a quick trip to the mound. Another thing about pitching in this league is pitching behind, constantly pitching behind. It's not a recipe for success if you're constantly having to get out of 2-0 and 3-1 jams. Brennan's got a good fastball. It's 94 fastball, but sometimes he overthrows and.
There's the ground ball. Bad throw. It ends up in center field. Worth is on his way to third, and all hands are safe for the Nationals. A slow roller back to the mound, and Kenneth threw a sinker that couldn't be handled at second base. Fielder's choice, E1.
There's some confusion there on who he was throwing to. Did Jace cut kind of in front of Anderson? No, Anderson was behind the bag. Jace was the guy who was going to take the throw. And he just pulled his throw.
So first and third, one out, and here's Desmond. There's a standard double play ball. And an easy turn.
There you go.
Ends the inning. On we go to the 8th inning. Part of the order up for the Braves. Simmons, Freeman, and Johnson still a ball game. It's 6-3 Washington. .com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. Big Bopper's up for the Braves in the 8th, and Aaron Barrett is the man that will face them.
This guy is kind of a Jonathan Papelbon clone. I don't know if he likes Papelbon as a fan or he tries to look like him, pattern himself like him. 19 strikeouts in 12 1/3 innings. I'd say he's got pretty good stuff.
First pitch and a base hit by Andrelton Simmons.
Turned that 95-mile-an-hour gas around.
Barrett was given the nickname, and it was a very clever one, the Bear, during his rookie season last year. Big arm, lots of strikeouts out of the University of Mississippi.
Fastball slider usually tops out at 95. That's what he threw Andrelton.
Barrett lives in Atlanta in the offseason, and that one's yanked by Freeman, foul and out of play.
I was a little surprised that Thornton wasn't left in the game to pitch to Simmons and then Freeman. But this must be the Matt Williams way. The setup guy in the 8th is Barrett, no matter who it is.
Not much history between Barrett and Freddie Freeman, just one at bat. Freeman's 0 for 1 and didn't get the heat at 95. No balls, 2 strikes.
That one right by him.
This is a much different Washington bullpen than last year. Mentioned Tyler Clippard's now in Oakland A. Craig Stammen injured, out for the year, and Rafael Soriano, who was their closer, is still a free agent. So a lot of late inning turnover for the Washington relief corps. Sharply hit and through for Freeman on an 0-2 count, and all of a sudden the Braves are going to bring the tying run to the plate here in the 8th inning.
How big was the catch by Harper? Several big turning points in this ball game. The 3-run homer by Zimmerman and then the catch by Harper. There's the Braves are pecking away. And again, the Braves able to pick on that high fastball.
So Freeman extends his hitting streak to 5 games. And that'll bring up Kelly Johnson. As Joe mentioned, 15 RBIs in the last 12 games for the Braves left fielder. And a terrific fastball hitter. Got the slider that time and didn't get it. 0-1. Double barrel action in the Nationals bullpen. Roark and Solis. And another slider has Kelly behind 0-2.
Well, they know Kelly's a good fastball hitter too, so they're not going to just pitch to his strength. Started him with 2 good sliders, and he was right over the top of both of them.
2 on, nobody out. Broken bat and a foul ball. That would have advanced a couple of runners. Broken bat and a tough break for Kelly, but he'll get another swing. 0-2. Braves try to stage a late comeback against Washington. This team hasn't quit today. That's something to be proud of. Let's see if they can edge a little closer. 3 runs on 8 hits for the Braves. The pitch is a swing and a miss. And Kelly's down on a slider. Goes out number 1.
Now 3 sliders and all well located down. And all 3, Kelly's over the top of it.
Alberto Callaspo broke up Fister's no-hit bid with a leadoff single in the 5th. Right there for a called strike.
Jason Worth has moved in a little bit as a result after Callaspo dropped that one in front of him.
Lobotone requested time.
.94 on the black porch, pretty good. See, Bank shows you that was right on the line.
So Callaspo has to protect 0-2, and the slider missed. There was the slider again.
Sometimes he can foul off pitches that you wonder how in the world he got a piece of it. But right before he got that first hit of the game for Atlanta, he fouled off a changeup from Fister that his bat was so far out in front that the ball just kind of pinged off the very end of his bat.
Another tough pitch. And another foul ball on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, just too close to take.
Two balls, two strikes. Jace Peterson's on deck. This game a little too close for comfort for Matt Williams. That's led it 6-1. 2 in the 7th for the Braves have made it close. 6-3 now. The pitch. And another foul ball back to the screen. Good at bat. Now a 2-2 pitch. Stayed high.
Wow. What a bat for Cayaspo. What an eye.
At the plate, but was chin high. Here's the 9th pitch of the at bat.
Little baseball strategy here. I mean, with 2 outs, obviously you run on a full count. But with 1 out, they weren't running, and they most likely won't be running here, because even if Cayaspo strikes out, you still have your runners out there if you don't run, and a chance to still tie the game. So if Peterson were to come up and hit 1 out.
Another 3-2 pitch is high, 1 at bat. So Cayaspo works a double-digit pitch at bat, 10 in fact. And now the stage is set for Jace Peterson, his 25th birthday. He told Andre Aldridge he's not had much luck as a professional player on his birthday, and now he's going to have to face a left-hander who's going to come in out of the bullpen, I would think.
I would think so, but he motioned with the right hand like he wanted a right hander.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Tanner Roark is out there, so maybe it's going to be Roark instead of Solis.
Huh.
And that's who it's going to be. Well, that's a surprising call. Let's see how it works out. Bases loaded, 1 out in the Atlanta 8th. Down 6-3. Let's revisit our AT&T Universe trivia question. Bryce Harper's tied for third in the league with 25 ribbies. Name the last Nat or Expo to lead the league in runs batted in for a season.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to say Andre Dawson.
I'll go with Tim Wallach.
That's a good guess. Both former Expos, and we were the right team and right era, but it was Gary Carter.
Had him surrounded.
Snapped our winning streak. Yeah, we were red hot 4-0. But now 4-1. Speaking of red hot, Tanner Roark has done a terrific job out of the bullpen for Washington. He's become kind of a utility pitcher for him.
Well, and coming in to face a lefty, you see there are only 3 walks, 15 innings. He throws strikes, and then maybe that's what Matt Williams is hoping for here. And a ground ball. He's a 4-pitch guy, low 90s fastball. He may have confidence that he can get a ground ball and get him out of the inning.
I think it's safe to say, Joe, any other team in Major League Baseball, this man would be in someone's rotation.
Absolutely. He won 15 games for him last year, and he's back in the pen this year.
So let's see what Peterson can do. He's 0 for 3. Strike one to him. Pitch. Might be why Matt Williams felt confident that Roark could retire Peterson. Then you got right-handed bats coming up after Jace, barring a double play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Great changeup. Breaking ball, actually. But only 78 miles an hour.
Simmons, Freeman, and Callaspo, the Braves runners. The 1-2 pitch. Here's a little tapper to the right side. Roark is going to field and apply the tag. Our run will score. Anderson Simmons comes home to make it a 6-4 game. Freeman moves to third. Callaspo's at second. Give Peterson his 8th RBI. That run belongs to Barrett.
You know what? It doesn't get 2 runs in. It's not a base hit. He didn't reach, but he put it in play behind in the count. He put it in play enough to get a run in and move 2 other guys into scoring position where a base hit would tie the game. So I'll take that over a strikeout any day.
Productive out that scored a run. So here's Bethancourt. He's singled and scored, and a strike. Bethancourt's 0 for 3 against Roark. He had a good rip there. It's now 0-2.
He sure did. But again, this guy's a 4-pitch pitcher. He's got some weapons he can go to here. Ahead in the count.
What an advantage for a relief pitcher who's really a starter in this situation. There's nothing Christian can eliminate right now.
Yeah, and has good command of all of them.
Good patience. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And Christian's got to do here is realize that they've got a base open if they so choose, but that behind in the count, he's got to have that outside covered. He's got to adjust to anything middle in, stay on the fastball, got to drive it to right center.
He did try to do that, and it's into the second deck. Roark from the University of Illinois. And Wilmington, Illinois. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That was too far outside. 2-2.
See, if you're thinking middle away and they throw that slider away, then it's not so difficult, I'll say, as difficult to lay off. If you're thinking middle in and all of a sudden he throws that pitch, then all of a sudden you're way out in front, you're swinging around it.
Bethancourt's battled back to an even count. They fought that one off. Tell you what, the Braves have had some real impressive 8th inning at bats today.
Yeah, and don't change your approach. And that was an effort just to get a piece of that one. That was a tough pitch, too close to take. Don't change your approach. Still think middle of the plate away and think right center. And then adjust to anything inside. Try to fight it off.
Simmons and Freeman started with singles. Callaspo walked with one out. Peterson rolled out to bring in a run. Now Bethancourt, 2 on, 2 out. Deuces Wild, 6-4 game. Fly ball left center field. That ball's going to get down. It's going to be tied. Bethancourt on his way to second. The Braves have tied this game 6 apiece.
That, folks, was a big league at bat.
A 7-pitch at bat, and the Braves have plated 3 against the Nationals pen.
And he made a mistake with the slider. That time somebody made a mistake by the Nats staff, and the Braves take advantage. And Bethancourt splits the gap. Great job.
And listen, all the Braves fans starting to do the chop. Washington led 6-1. The Braves have scored 5 unanswered runs to tie it in the 8th. And they're not done yet. Maybin's hit a couple of doubles today. We know about the Braves' batting average with runners at second base this year. That's the situation for Cameron.
A great catch by Harper last inning is huge. That saved a run. Let's see if the Braves can get that run right here. Good pitch.
So Pfister can't win it. Teheran can't lose it. It's a battle of the bullpens. To this point, Atlanta's pen has pitched 2 scoreless innings. 3 runs for the Braves so far in the 8th. 1-2 count. Shot toward first, and Zimmerman is there. Another 2 feet to Zimmerman's right, and that would have been in right field. Terrific at bats from the 7 men that batted for the Braves in the 8th inning. 3 runs are across, and new life. It's 6-6. They've tied up the Nationals 6-6. Now here's Tanner O'Rourke's tag of Jace Peterson at first base. Did he have... Whoa! The ball was in his pitching hand and not the glove at the time of the tag.
Well, you're right. First base umpire couldn't see that, but that would have been something they could ask for some help on. Yeah, but who would know? Terry Pendleton wasn't in an angle to see that. Certainly the base runner wouldn't know.
I don't think the home plate umpire could have seen it either. Certainly the Braves didn't. But boy, that's a big play potentially. The Nationals got the break. So Luis Avilan is on to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. 6-6 is the score.
Luis had a few days off. His last work against the Phillies. An inning and a third, gave up a couple of hits, no runs.
Out of play, foul. Lobaton's had another big game today. He's hit a 2-run homer and he's had a 5th inning single. What a luxury it is for a big league club to have a catcher who switch hits. And upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. 6 runs, 10 hits for Washington. 6 runs, 9 hits for the Braves. All of a sudden it's 3-1. Cannot walk people late.
Luis's last 4 outings, sorry Chip, covering 3 innings, 3-hit shutout baseball and no walks over any of those 4 outings. And he's only walked 3 in his 13 innings. Talked about the Braves needing a shutdown inning in the bottom of the 7th. They got it. And need one here in the 8th.
Back up the middle. Lobaton has his 3rd hit of the day. He there's Avilan fell behind, had to throw him a strike, and the Nationals catcher bounced it up the middle. So he represents the go-ahead run.
Thought Luis might have a chance to make it play there, but it was over his head. No chance.
Washington will take Lobaton down and bring on Michael Taylor to pinch run. Cody Martin loosening in the pen. Espinoza is the hitter. He's doubled and scored in 3 tries. Dan Uggla's on deck. He would bat for the pitcher. Now to keep an eye on Taylor. Coming into this season, 131 stolen bases in the minor leagues. He was caught just 39 times. As we've said a couple of times, Washington is not a running club, but Matt Williams might try to throw a surprise party. There's a bunt, and it's bounced behind the plate. Bethancourt was cat-like quick, ready to pounce on it and maybe try to start a double play.
Espinoza had an idea to bunt for a hit and not to move him up.
A leaning lead by Taylor at first, not going, and the bunt try fouled back. It's 0-2. Espinosa has one sacrifice this year. Way high, a ball and 2 strikes. $39,000 in attendance today. Most have stayed. Few thought the Braves would come back from a 6-1 deficit. They have. They've tied it up. Now 2-2.
Ball down. Luis throws hard. You can run it up there at 94. Made a pitch the other day to the Phillies. Looked like the Luis Avilan from 2 years ago had good sinking action on it. That's where he needs to be, is down and get the movement. Maybe get a ground ball or swing and a miss.
Runner goes. Good jump. Swing and a miss. The throw towards second is off the base runner. Peterson with a diving try couldn't corral it. It ricochets off Taylor. He's in safely with a stolen base and represents the go-ahead run. 1 out, and it will be Dan Uggla.
Everything was good for Christian. Swing and a miss. Good pitch to throw on. But too far to the first base side of the bag. He's got a break that it did hit the runner.
So now that Dan Uggla has been announced, the Braves will employ a double switch. They're going to bring on Eric Young Jr. He'll take over for Cameron Maben in center and bat ninth. Cody Martin was up and loosening in the Braves pen. It appears he'll come on to face Dan Uggla, who, as you know, had a gigantic series against the Braves back in Atlanta. So the wheels are turning in Washington. 6-6. Go ahead run in scoring position for former Brave Dan Uggla. We'll continue in a moment. The damage Dan did against the Braves in that entire series back in Atlanta.
Yeah, and the odd thing to me is that he's only had 3 at-bats since then. This whole homestand, 3 at-bats for Washington, so all that damage in Atlanta was pretty much where he's done all of his damage all year long. He has 10 hits on the year, 5 are for extra bases.
8 RBIs in the 3-game series.
Yeah, 2 triples and a homer in that series. Well, if anything, the guys who didn't know Dan Uggla well when they pitched against him in Atlanta hopefully learned that you just can't throw the guy a fastball in these types of situations.
Cody Martin on for the 15th time. Uggla, then Span. Taylor at second with one out. 6-6 game in the 8th. Uggla got playing time because Escobar got spiked at third base in that series in Atlanta and couldn't continue. Way high. 1 ball, no strikes. Driven toward left. That's going to get down for a hit. Kelly Johnson plays it on a hop. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be on target. And Bethancourt got the tag down. What a throw. Kelly Johnson erases Speedy Michael Taylor at the plate. And the game remains tied at 6.
Great throw. Great footwork, but I'm not so sure. Look where Christian took this throw. In foul territory, reached back, and I actually thought that Taylor got his foot in there. Great effort by Bethancourt to come back and get him. You know what? His foot was in the air.
So Uggla with the pinch hit single. Taylor's out 7-2. Uggla took second on the throw, so we're not out of the woods yet. New set of signs with Dan in scoring position. I'm surprised, quite frankly, Matt Williams isn't going to challenge the call, at least make him look at it.
Yeah. Taylor changed directions.
He got him. I think you're right, Joe. Your first call, his foot pops up right there.
It's in the air, so he didn't touch the plate until his back knee came across. Good call there by Fielded Colbert.
So the Nationals saw what you just saw. That's why there's no challenge, and heads up base running by Uggla to take second on the throw. Now Denard Spans the batter. He's got a hit today. Little looper to the left side, and that's going to be caught by Andrelton Simmons. And the Braves escape the 8th inning. A great throw by Kelly Johnson preserves a tie. 6-6 as we enjoy our Toyota key play of the game.
Well, Dan Uggla did it again, or so we thought. Kelly got a good hop to throw on, and Bethancourt did his best to corral the throw and get back for the tag. Good angle here. I'll tell you, when Bethancourt had to shift into foul territory, it caused Taylor right there to have to change directions, and it slowed him down a little bit.
And when that foot bounced, that was the difference in the play. Otherwise, he had it beat. So we go to the ninth, and Drew Storen, the Nationals closer, will face the 9-1 and 2 hitters for the Braves. It's Eric Young Jr. to start.
Mostly fastball slider guy, low 90s.
And that was outside, said Fielding Culbreth. 1 ball, no strikes.
The hope is that you can lay off his slider and make him throw his fastball over the plate.
So today, to this point, it's the Nationals bullpen's turn to spray the ball all over the strike zone. Braves have touched their relief crew for 3 runs. And he's gone 3-0 to a fast man. Here's what Storen's done in his career against Atlanta. Last 21 games, virtually unhittable.
Leadoff man so important. Simmons did it in the 3-run 8th.
Fly ball hammered towards center field. Span on the run, still going, is going to get there. It jumped and then seemed to die as it got to right center. And Denard Span tracked it down for the first out.
Yeah, that and the fact that Span was playing Eric pretty shallow. He had to get on his horse to get there.
Storen, you might recall, was the Nationals closer in 2011. Became the second Nat with a 40-save season, joining the Chief, Chad Cordero. Then in 2012, missed the first half of the season, had bone chips taken out of his elbow. Then was in a setup role. Came the closer late, melted down in the playoffs. Then back in a setup role. Now that Soriano walked into free agency, Drew's their closer. 1 ball, 1 strike. He and Steven Strasburg taken together, 1st and 10th in the 2009 draft by the Nationals. Markakis has reached base twice. He's been robbed twice. And this one, a little flare into center. Will it hang up for Span? Yes, it will. 2 down.
They've scored 2 runs in the 7th inning after a couple of flyouts. They got 3 straight hits. A single from Bethancourt, doubles from Maven and Siriaco. So maybe a little 2-out lightning again here in the 9th.
Andrelton Simmons 1 for 4, an 8-game hitting streak for the Braves shortstop. He's 2 for 8 against Storen. And there's the slider, strike 1. In the 9th, the Nationals will have Escobar, Worth, and Bryce Harper. To the left side, Escobar gloves, grabs, and guns across in time. Storen works a 1-2-3 9th. Bottom half, 6-6 is your score. Don't forget, fans, the Tampa Bay Rays are coming to town May 20th. It'll be Javi Lopez bobblehead doll night. First 20,000 fans through the gates will get that good-looking souvenir. The Javi Lopez bobblehead day is the first of the 2015 Braves bobblehead series. Get your tickets today. Go to Braves.com/tickets. Cody Martin's back out. Tough inning. The 2, 3, 4 hitters are coming up for Washington. Escobar, Worth, and Bryce Harper.
Get that first guy.
Escobar had a run-scoring single in the second against Julio Teheran. He's put to a double play. He's popped out and struck out as well. And a shot to deep short. Salmons gloved it, but couldn't corral him. And Washington has the leadoff man on with an infield hit.
Escobar likes the first pitch. He jumps on this one. And Anderson just couldn't hang on to that one in the hole. So now let's see how the Nationals play it with the heart of their order up. Naturally, you expect that even if Worth were to bunt, the Braves would then pitch around Harper. And the Nationals don't want that.
Worth has walked twice, struck out once. He singled and scored ahead of a Zimmerman fifth-inning homer. And he's moved off the plate, ball one.
And showing signs of coming around with his swing.
Worth thought it was low.
Front door breaking ball. Got him to flinch.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Escobar's not a stolen base threat. He's 0 for 1 in that category. As Chip said earlier, they don't run much. Taylor came off the bench and stole a base. But as far as their everyday players, not too many guys run. And for Escobar to steal, he'd have to have a ball in the dirt or something like a wild throw or something for him to make it.
Worth fought it off. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Good idea. Good idea there. But now, go back to that pitch that he looked so bad on earlier in the game against Teheran. And they struck him out in the second inning on 3 straight sliders. He was kind of swinging with one hand.
Make him the hard slider, though.
Yeah.
2-2. He got one, but fouled it away at the plate.
Barely got it.
It's stuck in the knee saver of Christian Bethancourt. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Worth is down on a fastball. Good spot for it. Martin takes care of Worth.
Went upstairs, got it above his hands. Jason couldn't catch up. Good sequence there from Cody Martin. Now the hottest hitter on the planet. The one thing you don't want to do is leave the ball out over the plate. Got to try and crowd him.
He's been clutch all year long for Washington. He's already saved a run with his glove. The Braves trying to crowd him here in the ninth. Ball one. Harper's flat out, struck out, singled and scored.
Because if you want to come back with like a backdoor slider to retire him later in the count, you've got to establish the inside part. And he did with that pitch.
Fly ball belted right center field. Bryce Harper has done it again.
Looked like a breaking ball, Chip, but it had what it looked like the middle of the plate. It did. You could see Bethencourt set up away and is right in the center of the plate where you knew if he got his arms extended it was trouble. He knew it. He watched it. When you're going this good, that's what you're allowed to do.
That's the 12th home run hit by the Nationals against the Braves in the last 4 games. This one a walk-off 2-run homer. And the Nationals survive a late comeback by the Braves and win Game 2, 8-6, the final score.